Welcoming you back to Crypto's Juiciest News. We're going to the moon, baby dolls. We have so much cracker news. Tom Lee buying $20 billion of meth. We have CPI data coming out. We even have Circle announcing a Layer1 Chain, confirming StableCoin SuperCycle. We even, on top of that, have Richard Hart, the man who used to live on top of a sandwich shop, posting about stablecoins, and then in a separate post, posting again about pWBTC. All of that coming your way and more. And yes, it's time to absolutely crank it. That's exactly what we're going to do. Ethereum, 4,600 American dollars. We're here to crank it. BTC, the fifth green monthly candle. Here it is. See that? 5 in a row. Green. That's nice. Just to warn you right now, friends. At 5, it could technically be over. I hate to say it, it's just true. It's true that in the past. At 5, it could be all be over. However, in the past year, we saw it go for 7 in a row. 7. Okay? So as we enjoy and look at everything here, we can see 7 in a row is what happened last year. This was never before seen, by the way. This was like maybe a special event because we had the Bitcoin Spot ETF. Now we've had 5. After the 6th, I mean, like, it's definitely warning. And you never know, friends. We might finish September green and then just start crashing in October. Remember, we have the 4-year cycle. Got to remind you, friends, if there's a final boss for this cycle, there's only one left, and it's the 4-year cycle. Because that's literally the last model that has worked 3 times in a row. And you know what happens to crypto and models and everything out here? It feels like the market sniffs it out. And then it says, you know what? You're going to face the moggening of your lifetime. We're actually going to test you, you know? And I think it's going to be very clear if we get that. Basically, maybe we're just crashing in October when everyone expects it to be the biggest bullish month ever. Maybe, right? Just in case. And if it does happen, we'll know, hey, the business cycle hasn't ticked up. We don't think it's over. So yes, that's pretty much what it might come down to, but we'll see. We have Ethereum, friends, stealing the show. Look at this. It's up to 4,600. It's actually right here. Like, we're right at near the all-time high, ready to go. The good thing is, friends, Ethereum had a reset here. It had a red candle here, so this is now just 2 green in a row. If you go look at the past end of cycles, for example, is Ethereum doing many green candles in a row? You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It did 7 green in a row. This one was the 8th green in a row, and it literally went all the way back down, okay? Just give you an idea of what type of mania we could actually see as we move forward. And right now, we've only done 2 candles in a row. I've got so much cracker news here coming for you. The Bitcoin dominance, the BTC dominance, friends, ticking down again. We got a long way to go, by the way. It's just like, yay, you're slightly moving down. The most important part is flip red on the weekly super trend. It did do that before. This was a false alarm. This was like, oh man, the cuckening of our lifetimes because Donald Trump wins and then we still got faked out, man. That's just what happens, man. Look, something to think about. See the domino, friends? Think about how Donald Trump wins, but it's still not enough to instantly reverse basically the poopiness from the post-zombie virus inflationary stuff, right? And the printing and the business cycle confidence crash. So Donald Trump, I guess you could see it as like him coming in, it was good, but it still needs time for it to work out. Well, we might see Donald Trump's positive crypto policies, right? In the next cycle, what we might find is it looks like it's going bad, but we have so many of the positive onflow effects from Donald Trump where these things just refuse to capitulate for a while. So what I'm doing is I'm just inversing what happened and what we've gone through in terms of like, you know, so we had bad policies before. It took like many months to reverse the bad policies, even after Donald Trump comes in. Well, now he has all these good policies, right? So that might be what happens next time. And why I'm just thinking about this is because we're always thinking like basically trying to be 10 steps ahead of everyone else, right? We want to even be conceptualizing, can we even think of a world where, say, you know, because everyone's like, man, altcoins are never ever going to go up. But you check all the comment sections everywhere, friends. Every single person, we all think the same thing. We all think, oh, it's going to be Bitcoin only. I'm only going to touch Bitcoin in the next bear market. All altcoins are scams. But that just tells me everyone's way underexposed to altcoins. Check out the daily chart of Ethereum. Remember, it's now busted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Resistance touches here. And now we are moving up here. The big macro fib, friends, is 7,300 once again. So in my mind, 7,300 is pretty much locked in. The thing, though, is how high are we going to go, right? In the past cycle, we landed between the second and the third. Okay, that would be a repeat of about $13,000 if we got up there, right? Which is pretty good. I mean, pretty good. It's amazing, by the way. And to be honest, friends, based off everything, we don't even really need Ethereum above 7,000 anyway. That's enough juice, I think, to get everything going. Now, I'm just going to quickly show you the ETH-BTC ratio. It is still continuing to tick on up, friends. 0.038. Here we go up here. Remember, because this is such a bigly vicious move on the way down, I feel like the best we're getting is a retrace, right? Which is around here. Which, hey, that's still pretty good, man. That's still pretty good. Friends, if we can go up here and then it maybe has a month where it just spikes up, that's why XRP ratio did somewhere up here. That's still huge, man. 0.07 or even 0.06. This is still wonderful. Because 0.06 ratio, okay, that means Ethereum is 6% of Bitcoin's price. But if Bitcoin is $200,000, that's Ethereum 12. Okay, and that's pretty good, man. Remember, friends, like when Ethereum was $1,400 and Ben Copen is saying, "You're all going home. You're all going home." You know what I mean? Like, you know, even the thought of $5,000 ETH seemed euphoric back then. But the fact that we're getting 12,000, hopefully, right, seems pretty good. We're going to keep manifesting to 10 trillion, friends. So we've officially hit 4 trillion market cap for total crypto, but, you know, 3, 4, it's all the same shit to us. You know, we're trying to manifest crypto to 10 trillion. I've got more videos and stuff coming out here for you about where you actually manifest, just putting stuff together because it feels like, man, AI and everything running in the background, we should go to 10 trillion, man. Just the stock market's on fire, the economy's on fire, everything's cranking. This is pretty much it. So all we do now is pretty much you do nothing. You wait, you get it. You wait. Okay, you ready? Wait. Pretty much you're probably overextended if you've been in crypto for a while. Way overextended. So this is just the easy part, right? Kind of easy. Then it's going to get to the anxiety part because you're constantly climbing the wall of worry, yeah? And for everyone else, if you're coming brand new and coming in sidelined, honestly, we don't know what to tell you. I mean, like you want to, I guess, like if I was just coming in right now, I just throw it into, say, Ethereum first, and then I'm like, hey, what do I do? Well, personally, what I do is, this is just me. You can do whatever you want. ChainLink is super cheap against Ethereum. If you're on exchange, right? Just say that you're like, hey, I don't know how to use MetaMask or anything out here. You probably should because that's where all the cheaper altcoins are. But, and of course, all the other wallets, right? But Chainlink versus Ethereum is still very, very low. Hopefully, it does a 5x on top of it. This is a very, I just talk about Chainlink, friends, because it's a family-friendly coin. They didn't get attacked by the SEC. They've got insiders there, and that's it. You know, if you want to go and if you want higher risk and higher return potential, I guess you'd go down and move into PulseChain as well. You figure out how to get on a PulseChain, and then I'd get all the core coins. I'd get Pulse, PulseX, I'd get the pHEX and the eHEX, and I'd get Ink. You just do them in an equal ratio, whatever ratio you want out there. And then obviously I'd slap stuff onto pDAI and or pWBTC from there on. And all the other memes and everything out here, they're all going to start cranking and everything. But, you know, just as a starter, that's pretty much what I do. That's the same thing we've been doing for like years and years and years and years. It's just that, like, we felt like, man, how many times, friends, there were so many false alarms. We were like, man, this has to be it. But it was just, we had the longest, worst performing cycle of all time. Even check out others BTC. This thing has just been a killer. 7 extra red months in a row. We now have 2 green months. I've put these cute little targets. Maybe we get there, friends. You never know, man. Maybe we just peak. Somehow others BTC cranks up into Dikembe, resets, and then somehow goes pop, and has like this second massive euphoric pop off. We'll see. And just what you kind of think about, what would get us the second double bubble wave? Look, just think about something like NASDAQ listing a crypto index. Yeah, just imagine that. That will be like earth-shattering. You know what I mean? And that might be the earth-shattering top signal. Now, let's crack on through where we expect that we're going to go here before we even move on to other stuff, friends. This is, let's put the daily chart of BTC, right? We have the fractals and everything going up. No one knows what's going on, okay? We have blockchain backer who thinks up and then down, it's all over. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just be prepared for that. That's what I'm saying. I know, just in case, you know, if this happens, all right, you're prepared. Just in case Bitcoin comes up here, traps everyone, we come back all the way down, and then we follow some sort of big channel like that. Maybe we do this, actually, and we continue up, right? If we don't get that scenario where we just keep going up only, all right, well, congratulations. You and I have won the game. We don't need to worry about that. Now, macro-wise, the economy, stocks are doing fantastic, friends. This is the S&P 500. This is a daily chart. It is now ticked a new all-time high. Remember, in S&P 500 stock market boomer world, it's inverse personalities to crypto. Crypto goes down for 3.5 to 4.5 years, and then we go up for 6 months. We become expensive. Okay, that's what happens, and we get more volatile. The stock market is inverse. The stock market, instead of going, so crypto goes down for 3.5, 4.5 years, and then pop, it goes expensive. Okay, that's crypto. So crypto goes like down forever, and then pop. All right. Stocks do something else. Let's put stocks in green. Stocks, they run up. They lose their volatility as price goes up. Okay, they lose their volatility. They just stay up forever. Okay, see, they just go up forever, down, bang, bang. Maybe do this, bang, and they go up, and they die up here. No volatility. Okay, and then eventually when they're ready to roll over, all the volatility is down there, and they continue on up. Okay, that's how stocks go. So stocks are inverse, right? So while crypto goes down for 3.5 years, which is mostly altcoins and everything, or down or sideways, stocks are going up for 3.5, 4.5 years, yeah? And then when stocks crash, they crash for the 6 months, and everyone loses their mind because it's just like, you know, oh no, a 20% drop. Golly gee, I've never lived through that one. I mean, like coming crypto friends, this is a 20% drop. Everyone lost their minds here for Trump trade. Dude, we lose 20% every other Tuesday. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, hexagons are down 99%. You understand what I mean from the top? So like you're pretty much, you're ready, friends. You're battle ready. So the stock market, that tells you everything we need to know about Kippy data and anything else that here. See, S&P 500 at new all-time highs. It means some big cracker things are happening. Also, maybe I'll give you a quick sneak peek at the Sol ETH ratio. It is still ticking down, showing that all the attention is on Ethereum. All right. And I'm going to go through a few of those things coming in from here, friends. You'll see why. Ethereum, friends, in a layer 2 model, you know, it's not as dead as people think. And we'll speak more about that shortly. Friendly reminder as well, friends, the business cycle. I tell you about the business cycle all the time. We still haven't even ticked up. This data comes out month to month. You might find, though, this is the month. Maybe it just comes and it ticks up to like 51 or something, you know, in the next data. Because the crypto prices front run the data, right? Okay, the price coming in down, it bakes everything in. So, something interesting to think about. Once we hit 52, Altseason actually, like, technically has started all the times before. We haven't seen anything like that happen yet. Hopefully soon. Let's check out US rates, friends. So before I even look at the Kippy and the interpretations, you don't need to, okay? We have the US 2-year minus the Fed funds rate. This is exactly what the market is pricing in the next 2 years. It is minus 0.6%, pretty much. That is between 2 and 3 cuts, okay? So 2 cuts would be minus 0.5. 3 cuts would be 7.5. They're exactly right in between. See, about 2 or 3 cuts. So there's one coming in for September. There's one coming in for October. And then there's 50-50 chance of one coming in December. It depends how the data comes out, right? The market will adjust. So now that you know, that's pretty much the most important part as we move into the next phase. Now, without further ado, friends, we've only been waiting 1.5 years for this moment. So Ethereum has reclaimed Sommi's brown shoe emoji. Okay, so us holders of anything related to Ethereum, probably most of altcoins, right, friends? Remember, I thought the brown shoe was the bottom for ETH because I thought, well, you can't get worse than a brown shoe. That's literally the lowest life form on Earth. But actually what ends up happening is Ethereum dies, literally dies, and then turns into a coffin. We gave it the skull emoji, then we had to bury it. We gave it the coffin emoji. Coffin emoji was there for so long, turned into a tulip. All the worms ate it and made a nice tulip, okay? But now it's coming back. Now it's back to a brown shoe. If it goes back to 0.05, it will be upgraded to dog shit.
Listen to the fat
That's right.
beast.
Now, 0.05 ratio, very important, because that's where the Ethereum Spot ETF was, okay? In my mind, you're a scam if you go below after an Ethereum Spot ETF. This makes absolutely no sense. Why did you, in the middle, bro, you haven't even started the bull market. You went down below a spot ETF listing. Literally everybody in the world with access to a broker, you know, by the way, it's 15% of the world population, by the way, can now access you. Think about that, man. You literally access, so there's 8 billion people on Earth. So you have, yeah, 1 billion people can now buy you. Oh, I know. Let's go drop 65%. So there's some sort of evil, degenerate scamming that was going on in that phase. Ethereum, remember, oh man, I'm not, you know, friends, just remember this for life, okay? No matter how sure of things you are, you still can't do leverage, man. You just can't do leverage, okay? Because if you get in with spot, which means no leverage, what happens is, see, maybe 80, you know, when you're really, really, really sure about something, you'll probably be sure 80% of the time. The problem is that bottom 20%, if you're wrong, it'll kill you. It'll literally kill you. Now, the thing is, if you're on leverage, not only does it kill you, it forces your money to get out. You're actually forced out, whether you can't grab onto anything to tell it to stay. But if you're in spot altcoins, you can pay your sacrifice in time, which is what we've done. See, Ethereum, 1.5 years of dog shit. But hey, finally, here we are. You know what I mean? Like, you pay with time, calendar days. You just wait long enough and it ends up being okay. Wait long enough, you know, it feels like forever, yeah. That's the most important lesson you can take from all of this. Now, friends, without further ado as well, we're going to have to crank it because Sommi has shocked the crypto industry by announcing a $20 billion raise and he's going to buy Ethereum. Crowd favorite Sommi. Here we have right here, Sommi. Check it out, friends. Here he is. Enjoy. He's got the leg split, friends. See, this is a man who knows Ethereum is going to be closer to $15,000 than to zero. You know, this is how a man sits when he knows it's about to be on like Donkey Kong. And so we're going to play some Donkey Kong music. Look how lovable he is. Isn't that cute? $20 billion. That's an enormous amount. I think by now, I'm going to show you, friends. Saylor tracker. Let's compare that. Michael Saylor has put in, I think, about 40 billion, 45 billion now into Bitcoin. Okay, so for one raise of 20 billion, man, Tom Lee's got some pull. That's some big. Friends, you got to think about that. Like, he's doing half the size of Michael Saylor. He's almost implying that the demand for ETH-BTC, the ratio should be trading at 0.08. It's almost telling us, because it's about half of Michael Saylor's money put in. He's like, oh, I'll raise half of that, 20 billion. He's put in 45 billion. Let's put about 20. That's near. It's about actually now 0.07 ratio. Let me actually show you that. So what I've done is I've just equated dollar for dollars, and I am just making it up. But yeah, it is. This is what it implies, though. Okay, in terms of the numbers are real, but in terms of like doesn't mean anything. You know, we're just having fun here. So just to let you know, friends. And Ethereum flippening, I think it's about now 0.155. If 0.15, let's just say it was 0.15. That's when Ethereum flips Bitcoin in market cap. So if it goes to around 0.07, people will probably say, hey, we're only 2x away to flip Bitcoin. That might actually be the end of this cycle part, and then we continue later on. So Michael Saylor has put in a big chunk of money. Look, friends, it feels like, look, for him to get his average price above 100K, he's going to have to buy a crap load of 180K, 200K, and everything out here. I think now it's appropriate. Let's just go check out the NAV multiple of the Bitcoin on MicroStrategy's balance sheet. It's 1.482. So we're just going to be watching that every day. It's just interesting, very interesting to see how it moves around. Obviously, warning signs if it goes down to 1.3, 1.2, 1.1, it probably means we are near the end of the speculative phase of the bull market, right? And there could be just a few months left. And remember, friends, friendly reminder, okay? A bull market ends when you run out of buyers. You get it? You heard that from your friend Sommi. I've been saying that for literally 2 years, okay? Actually, more than that. 2.5 years I've been making videos. I've been telling you from day one, a bull market ends when you run out of buyers. Why did I tell you that? Is because my very first videos were telling you that the bear market has ended because we've run out of sellers, right? We've run out of sellers of people who are going to sell that there was going to be a recession because the unemployment starts getting better. Even though the US Fed is hiking rates, the economy starts turning. You run out of the sellers, okay? So this is the opposite, right? So this is very important, okay? So default person, they think if a chart goes up, a seller appears and kills it. No, it's you run out of buyers. That's what actually kills everything. So basically, bull markets end on euphoria. Basically, everybody buys in, everyone's expelled themselves, and everyone has basically run over themselves, okay? Now, this is a huge announcement for Ethereum as well. Charlie, $20 billion raise. More coming. Now, friends, also more earth-shattering breaking news. You notice that all of this is literally coming out in the past 6 to 8 hours. In a bear market, this is bad news, bad news, bad news. This guy hates Bitcoin. India's banning Bitcoin again. China rebans Bitcoin. You know, everything's called a scam. You know what I mean? Some company's getting liquidated. That all the bad news rolls over in itself. And in the good news, it all happens together, right? All the monthly candle stuff. By the way, before I even tell you the good news, friends, look, this is the 5th green monthly candle in a row. Do you see how you've never seen news like this before, have you? In the past months, April, May, June, July, you have not seen anything to the level of what we've seen today. And guess what? It's the smallest monthly candle for Bitcoin. Look at this. It's the smallest. So I'm just showing you further proof. The news, it doesn't matter how far the asset goes. It is the repetitive combo of the monthly candles. It's that we've been running up for 5 months now. So it's been 4 months in a row confirmed green, and now this is the 5th. Isn't it crazy? The 5th candle has more powerful news. Even though, check this out, friends, even though when you have something like this, look at this candle. This was 25% low to high, right? Look what we've only done from here. We've only done 7% low to high. So it's further proof, once again, telling you, friends, why. Why is that? It's because the news, right, it's more of a reflection of just this time stream continuum moving in and out, weak hands and strong hands with each other, okay? It's esoteric, okay? Which means basically when you're here long enough, you get to see it. And actually, friend, there's been people here, man. They've been in crypto for like 10 to 12 years. They don't know this shit. So I'm literally giving you the highest value content in crypto, and it's not even close. Speaking of that, let's have a quick video number check. Let's see how many videos I've made so far, friends. I have made 5,546. Oh my gosh. I'm only 9 videos away from 5,555. And then hopefully something's going to happen. I've got nothing planned. I'm kind of hoping it's a green day. Now, back to the earth-shattering breaking news. Circle USDC issuer has announced a layer 1 chain called ARC, which probably stands for anal rectum centralization. And I've written here, friends, take note of the amount of times I'm going to tell you as I read juicy news, how many times I say StableCoin SuperCycle confirmed. Okay, friends, if there was ever a time to get your pegs out and peg your own nipples, it would be now, because we're going to have the mother load of StableCoin SuperCycle. Firstly, this is the rated mother load. Friends, just to tell you, okay, let's go back and let's check it out. Okay, so Soylana ran up last year, okay? They ran up a lot. Because we don't have much business cycle demand, Ethereum's pooped, right? And Ethereum has a lot of layer 2 chains. Okay, they got cucked. Now, you'll hear many KOLs say Ethereum's model is wrong. Everybody, Soy, even Ivan, everyone said, hey, Ethereum, your layer 2 model's garbage, doesn't work, okay? So, and what actually happened is all the money went to Soylana. Now, in the meantime, I went and I checked up with some Ethereum maxis. I go, well, is Ethereum's model wrong? And they would definitively strike back and say, no, it's not. It's not wrong. They go, our model's eventually going to win. What is their model? Their model is they believe that, and Vitalik even said this, they go, hey, no matter how much you scale layer 1, the main chain, people always find the way to fill up junk with it, okay? And it makes sense in the real world, right? If you make it costly, if you make it cost zero for people to say use the internet and message each other, they'll probably just like spam advertising because it costs nothing to message people, right? So what they noticed is if you put the price up a bit, it kind of filters out the spam. But if you keep adding more place and make the price lower, it just fills up again, okay? So the model is they believed in the future, all these private banks, private companies, everyone's going to have their own chain, and they want layer 2 chains. So they're all going to have their own chain. They have their own customers, consumers, they connect to their own website, and then if they want, they can go and connect and bridge in liquidity and move stuff on Ethereum mainnet. Now, this was a bit slow because no company had jumped forth. We saw, friends, the first clue of this. Remember we saw a few months ago, Robinhood said they're going to make their own, they're going to connect to like Optimism or whatever it is. So Robinhood actually going to do something like that, right? That was like the first key that, yes, it's going to happen. So Robinhood, friends, you got to think about it, okay? They didn't choose Soylana mainnet because the Ethereum guys came up and they go, hey, man, you know how you're choosing Soylana mainnet? It can only do like, 10,000 transactions per second. Guess what? You're going to fill up all the blocks and then someone else is going to compete. It's going to make it too expensive straight away. You need something else. So that's why Ethereum layer 2s, they built for the future. They built these layer 2 kits, right? So Circle is pretty much confirming Ethereum's success because now they're making a stablecoin chain as well. Same as Tether, friends. Remember, there's that Plasma. They have a stablecoin chain as well. Or the one that did the ICO that sold out 500 million in like minutes. So it's just showing you that might be the future where as you know, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Disney, just all these big companies, Netflix, okay, they might have in the future their own chain, okay, because we can't scale everyone on one thing. Okay, now Ethereum, this is what happens, right? Ethereum, friends, they were so forward thinking, they completely left layer 1 unscaled, right? They didn't do anything. They went straight to layer 2s. The problem is we had the boom bust cycle. We got the crushing business cycle demand. And Soylana goes, guess what? We're going to cater to layer 1. And so what happens is we have the meme coin trenches that appear. Okay, that's everyone went onto that. But that's not long term, is it? Because now we end up going to find out. You're going to find out. Like, look at Tom Lee and stuff out here. These people want to put all their businesses on it. Now, if you look at any other KOL who's maybe sponsored or getting money by Soylana, they'll be like, oh, but Ethereum has no transactions per second and stuff. I go, bro, please just sit down. Okay, please sit down. Hopefully on a squeaky chair. Grab the nearest squeaky chair and sit down. Bitcoin has no technology. People are not buying Bitcoin for what they think it can do today. People are buying Bitcoin for because of what they think it can do in 5 years from now. Do you get it? They think it's going to be like sovereign, store of wealth and stuff out here in 5 years. Okay, well, the market is full of smart players. Okay, the market crowd, yes, maybe individuals look like retardios. They have a wisdom of the crowd. They are pricing in Ethereum today based off what they think it can do in 5 years. They think in 5 years there'll be more layer 2s. Disney will have a chain. Coca-Cola and Pepsi will have a chain. Do you get it? You do get it. That's why, friends. But you know, when someone gets paid to shill like something, they can't see beyond that. By the way, all the benefactors and beneficiaries of Ethereum rising are also going to be handsomely rewarded. For example, PulseChain. So PulseChain fans, checking out the prices here. Slight green on the table. eHEX 13%, pHEX 6%. We have Pulse and PulseX 5%. pDAI up 17%. pWBTC up 26% due to Richie Hart even tagging it and posting it. So as you can see, friends, all of it seems to be coming together, and I think we deserve some cranky overdrive music as well. We deserve it. It's been a long time. It's time to awaken Ethereum. I won't believe it though until I see 5,000. I want to see 5,000. Once you start seeing 5s, everyone's talking in round 2x's and 3x's. Hey, can I go to 10 or 15 or 20 or 25? That's what I want to see that, right? So, also, friends, StableCoin SuperCycle confirming is super bullish on our favorite ping pong coin, which is pDAI, all right? Because pDAI is censorship resistant, has no blacklist function, okay? Has no counterparty risk, all right? Yes, you're like, hey, isn't it meant to be at $1? Hey, you've never seen anything like it, and I haven't either. It's not meant to be anything. In fact, the thing's not even meant to exist. But yeah, it would be nice if it went to $1 though. So we'll see. Maybe something happens, maybe something don't. And by the way, last time we thought something was going to happen, it went to freaking 0. So there's your risk. By the way, I'm still very long. And I do have a pumps. 17% up on the day's nice as well. Let's take a quick peek at the chart. Very nice to see. 0.63 cents. We're like grinding, ready to pop up through. Hopefully 1 cent comes. When 1 cent comes, friends, we're going to have the global nipple pegging event. Everyone's going to change their avatars to Sommi's Peg Nipples. And everyone, not just PulseChain Cores, everyone in crypto will be reminded of my 5,555 videos out there who has been telling you about this with a thesis, with on-chain evidence, with PulseChain Pioneer stuff, with pictures, with diagrams, with videos, with peg nipples, with literally everything. We have a freaking pDAI tattoo now. If you still can't get it, I don't have enough time to explain it to you. And by the way, 1 cent, I think it would be like a whopping 37x from the pDAI gravestone day. By the way, oh, I'm too good for a 37x. Shut up. We literally have a whole industry, friends. If Bitcoin gets to 200K, they're euphoric. It's an 80% rally. Oh, I'm not going to accept a 36x. Man, you're going to feel like a real dum-dum if it actually goes to $1. Because it's 100x from a penny. That'd be funny. Now, the Kippy came out cooler than expected, friends. 2.7%. But because you are my friend and we confirmed friendship, I already showed you, we just focus more on the US Fed pricing. We already saw that. It's still pricing in around 2 to 3 cuts. Richard Hart has posted about stablecoins, friends. So this confirms StableCoin SuperCycle. Also, it confirms to me, in my opinion, some pDAI friendship. He also did a separate post about pWBTC. He actually posted the chart. I'll cover that yummy update. And he called for action. He called for people, if you have a free airdrop, so if you have WBTC, wrapped Bitcoin, you receive the pWBTC airdrop, right? That's what it is, yeah? So he's told everyone who has on the exchanges, go email every single exchange and tell them, hey, please support trading for pWBTC, which is the genius idea. If everyone goes and tells exchanges to support the pDAI and pWBTC and they list them, they're going to have to provide liquidity. They'll come in, there'll probably be a big dumping event, and then it ends up getting bought up, and they'll be actually great. More cracker news. SharpLink Gaming have announced $400 million to buy more Ethereum, and then they did buy more ETH, 5,200 ETH. They currently hold 604,000 Ethereum. Got a friendly reminder as well, friends. On the strategic Ethereum reserve, PulseChain is rank 5. We call the SER, S-E-R. PulseChain SAC is rank number 5 here, okay? So we have 166,000 ETH in the wallet. And now I'll give you a quick peek at lookintorh.com. This is Gerardo's website. Subscribe if you want to support him, by the way. So this is $760 million worth now. It's up 21%, up 135 million. Yeah, everyone's getting excited and stuff out here. Friends, you got to remember, it's not about is he going to spend the money with us or not. You guys got to understand that it's not about that, man. It's more about that Richard Hart and everybody cop shit for 1.5 years. Even Eric Wall came out and made essays. What a terrible, terrible trade. Bought the high of Ethereum. Now it's down. He's lost all that money. Now that it's come back, you understand it's 1.5 years of basically getting pooped on. Now it's starting to go green. So it's more people just, they want like some sort of win there. Jack Dorsey, he has his company called Block, and he plans to offer a full stack Bitcoin banking suite for small businesses. Now, if you remember Jack, you have him with the nose ring. The thing is, look, man, I know, thank you for Twitter, but man, I'll never forgive you for what you did during that zombie virus stuff, friends. Every US government agent pretty much had a backdoor in Twitter, and they were telling him to ban the Hunter Biden laptop. They were telling anybody to ban. They banned scientists and researchers who were alerting the population that the zombie virus came from a lab. They go, hey, I can prove it. I have very high odds. If you go check it out, they'll banning you. They'll banning you, and they were basically calling for you to go to jail. Yeah, under his website. So talk about communism. That's what it would look like, right? And now all you blue-pilled cucks who sit on your freaking non-squeaky chairs and you don't have any fluff on any of your slippers, all you blue-pilled cucks sitting there going, oh yeah, I totally trust the government. Yes, I totally believe a Zubat Pokemon had sex with a Pokeball and that made the virus naturally. Definitely. Let me get my 18th vaccine. Totally. Right, friends, they're the same cucks. You know what? They're beyond help, you know what I mean? Good luck. NASDAQ-listed Fundamental Global has bought 47,300 Ethereum. We're going to see more of that continue. More companies buying, because they're a bunch of sausage riders. That's it. I've told you right now. Bitcoin dominance, they don't care about the tech as much, but you know what the tech they care about is? Number go up, okay? They're just like us. The Antichrist Peter Thiel's exchange, Bullish, is called Bullish. They've increased their IPO to $1 billion. Remember, Peter Thiel is untrustworthy. Just to remind you, don't ever buy anything because of this dude. He's a literal snake. He's a literal reptilian snake. He came out to Bitcoin conference at the end of 2021. He says, I don't have enough Bitcoin. I've got to buy more. And then we later found out he literally on his private jet told his whole hedge fund dump 100% of his Bitcoin holdings, and he dumped it on the whole crowd. So yeah, he can go suck a fat one. And by the way, he does swing that way, if you know what I mean. So he is probably sucking a fat one right now. Now I've got some tiffs going on here, friends. Elon Musk says xAI will file a lawsuit against Apple for allegedly antitrust violations, claiming the Apple Store policies prevent AI companies besides OpenAI from reaching #1 rankings. So Apple have been really pushing, everyone's been sharing on Twitter, Apple have been really pushing OpenAI and not Elon Musk. Sam Altman accuses Elon Musk of manipulating Twitter X. Musk fires back, calling him a liar. So they're going back and forth. Fences and AI SuperCycle. It's going to be the battle of the giants. It's all making everybody optimistic for the future. Bitcoin miner Mara okay, not to be confused with Zalme, signs $168 million deal to acquire a 64% stake in Ion, worst name ever, subsidiary of French state-owned energy giant Électricité de France, marking its biggest AI and high-performance computing expansion. So, Mara, friends, I think Matthew Crater. This is Matthew Crater, Bitcoin Maxi. I think he basically said they're all going to hell. I think they're doing all the over-leveraged stuff out here. So everyone's acquiring Bitcoin, everyone's acquiring Ethereum, but don't think that, we can't go down. That's all I'm saying. We're going to go up, I think, I hope, but just there will be a point where everyone's in, okay? And then you can only go down. Wisconsin Senate has introduced a bill requiring full KYC for Bitcoin ATMs, mandating photo ID for every purchase, capping transactions at 1K, and collecting personal info from users. Just giving you an idea of the dark, dystopic reality. Yeah, friends. Hey, Bitcoiners, where's your privacy solution? Oh, you don't have one? Oh, they're putting KYC and ID requirements at the ATMs? Well done, Bitcoiners. Well done. Well done, Bitcoin Maxis. This is your solution, by the way. Have no smart contracts, so there's just KYC for everyone. What's the whole point of having a currency, bro, when the government of the fiat system, the shitty island of slum sludge, they can see exactly what you're doing? That's why Ethereum's going to pump, friends. Okay, Ethereum, we have the CypherPunks, man. We're making solutions for this, privacy solutions, okay? You withdraw $1,000. What? A steak and a freaking shoe? That's all you can get with $1,000 these days anyway, because of how much they printed. In other news, friends, MetaPlanet, which is Dildo Leclerc's Bitcoin Maxi company, have bought 518 BTC. Remember I show you them on the Bitcoin Treasuries company? They pretend like they're all holier than thou, but they're basically just altcoins for Bitcoin logo people. That's it. They're literally just altcoins for Bitcoin logo people. Stripe is developing a blockchain called Tempo in partnership with crypto VC Paradigm, described as high-performance, payments-focused blockchain per fortune. StableCoin SuperCycle confirmed. So, friends, did I tell you, man? Everyone's making their own chain. Every company is going to make their own chain. Do you see? And by the way, I think Stripe. I don't know if they're going to do EVM. Did they already choose it? I forgot. Maybe they do Bitcoin. Maybe because I think Stripe is linked with Bitcoin because of Jack Mallers. But I'm just showing you they're all making their own chains. By the way, yeah. So the Soylana model, yeah, it looked like it won the whole game and it won the whole cycle last year, but it's not the future. Okay, we can't have everything on one server. There are too many transactions. Friends, NASDAQ needs 10 or 20 million transactions per second to basically handle everything. Okay, so Solana's 22,000 still can't do it. So NASDAQ have to have their own chain. They have to have their own chain, have their own private stuff, and then if they want to connect to Ethereum and stuff out here, they can. So that's pretty much the future. But no one believed it because you have people like Ben Copen saying, Ethereum, you're all going home to $500 Ethereum. And then they go to the Bitcoin Maxi conferences. They shit on Ethereum. They invite the Tether CEO instead of Vitalik, who literally co-founded Bitcoin Magazine. And you know Vitalik used to earn, I think, $1.50 per hour, $1.50 per hour. That's how much he was getting paid to write for Bitcoin Magazine back in 2011 or 2013 or whatever. So that's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Check this out. XRP has officially ended their battle with the SEC. So we're in this, friends. We're in this momentum phase. We do nothing now. We just pray that everything goes up and hopefully more good news comes. Bernstein analyst predicts Coinbase will benefit most from Ethereum's rally to multi-year peaks and Altseason begins, positioning the crypto exchange to leverage surge in trading volume from supported tokens and staked assets. So it's funny, these analysts, they're all talking about Altseason. That's why I showed you that. Even the analysts talking about Altseason, and the crowd's going to believe it. The crowd believes it, they think it, then they see someone winning, and then it all basically starts the flywheel. Check this quote out by this man named Qe Sheffield. Qe said, stablecoins could massively expand Visa's addressable market. StableCoin SuperCycle confirmed. And that $2 trillion opportunity. So MasterCard, Visa, all coming into stablecoins and Ethereum and everything else. I've also, friends, got a paid shill alert. Warning, paid shill alert. Soylana Treasury firm Upexi forms advisory committee naming Arthur Gaze as its first member. So I just want to give you just a shill alert. Now, here's friends, got no bad blood. Arthur, cool guy. We'll have beer with him. Probably party with the boys, if you know what I mean. So it's okay. I'm just telling you, if you're new, you got to know how the game works. These people don't believe anything coming out of their mouths. They got paid. Friends, remember that Dave Chappelle skit? Because people always ask me, what tastes better, Pepsi or Coke? He goes, well, Pepsi pay me more, so that pays better. That's it. So Arthur Hayes, he recently sold $15 million of crypto and he called for ETH to go to 3,000, but then he later started capitulating back in and he FOMO bought Ethereum. This was yesterday at 4,100, or a day and a half ago, okay? So also news, friends, Terraform. So remember Do Kwon from Terra Luna? He has pled guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to defraud in the US. Faces up to 25 years in prison. And look, friends, say what you want about him, but look, I don't think he should be in jail because the crime I'm seeing and you're seeing right now blows him out of the water. Now, the thing is, he was at the Pico top. So if it's a crime season, which is what it is, we're going to see a bigger collapse at the end of this bull. You know, that's going to make him look like he's playing with candy, right? But it is interesting to think about what happened. Just so you know, friends, the Ponzi yield, friends, everyone knew it was a Ponzi, man. But a lot of people joined in anyway. They're just paying people from left-hand side to right-hand side, and it eventually collapsed. Wintermute were behind it, helping him go down. We found out some scum. They were behind the collapses, but someone was eventually going to collapse it, okay? So that's another way to think about it. But there will be another Luna of sorts. Now, it won't be Luna. Trust me on this one. When the Black Swan damage things happens, it's never a repeat of the last cycle, you know? So you know how we had, there was the BitConnect thing. Yeah, we had Celsius, but it's different flavor. They go, oh, we're giving it with DeFi stuff out here. We don't have our own coin that we're infinitely handing out yield, which actually Celsius did, but that wasn't the collapse. So in this bull market, we're probably not going to see a stable coin and exchange collapse like what was the theme of last cycle. They probably could blow up, but it'll be a different theme, if you know what I mean. Because people learn from the past, so they do more due diligence now. Like, for example, you already know with if Richard Hart or anybody ever does this pDAI thing, everybody has maximum scrutiny about how this thing works, okay? Whereas no one had any scrutiny last cycle. A mysterious entity has created 10 wallets in the past 8 days, accumulating 312,000 ETH from Falcon X, Galaxy Digital, and BitGo. I wonder what that is. That's $1.34 billion. Look, man, friends, isn't it? That's wild, man. What if? See, friends, I know. Just think about this, then. What if, you know, that 80,000 BTC, that 80,000, what if it really was Richard Hart? But what if he bought Ethereum? What if he swapped it into ETH? You know, I just think about that. Look at this. There's 10 wallets have been created in their past 8 days, 312,000 Ethereum. What if he swapped his 80,000 BTC into ETH? I think about that, but I don't know. Could be, friends. I'm dressed up as an astronaut, so I could be smoking crack right now, and it's wearing off, by the way. Belarus president has asked how the country can use cryptocurrency, especially now to facilitate payments. He said, calling it important for himself and the nation. StableCoin SuperCycle confirmed. Now, friends, if you have any Middle Eastern background, this man is literally half of your uncles. Okay, he started going bald like me at 17. Okay, he's got the comb over, he's got the sweaty, the moustache, and you see him at the family barbecue. You kiss him on the cheek. He's always wearing. Friends, have you ever smelled the old man cool water? If you have Chanel Blue, you know, cologne, but it's like there's an old man version of these ones. I don't know where they get it from. It's like all of them universally have it, and it's always aftershave, okay? And they just freshly shave for the barbecue. You go, you sit down. He's always in some sort of form, large, oversized, like a checkered shirt of sorts. And then you see him, you say hello, and he says, "Hello. How are you? Good? Yeah. How's your dad? Good? Yeah. And your mom? Yeah." And that's it. Then he basically tells you after that, go get stuffed because he's got to have his cup of coffee because the kids are getting too loud and annoying. That's pretty much literally every family event you've ever been to since the beginning. So, StableCoin SuperCycle confirmed. Now, Coinbase fans have launched StableCoin BootStrap Fund to boost liquidity in DeFi markets. Very interesting. A bootstrap fund, huh? It's like they want to spread their stablecoins to different liquidity pools so people get used to it for marketing. Very interesting. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the US Fed should stop being major losers and cut by 50 basis points instead. So, where are we going to go from here? Hopefully we keep going up. I've shown you the big Ethereum and Bitcoin targets out here. We have BTC, friends. Have you noticed, right? We're really at that point of inflection. You notice just how Ethereum's just starting to rocket and Bitcoin slowed down. I think it's confirmed now. We are definitely at that point of inflection, which we've been waiting forever and ever and ever and ever. Now, here's the thing. Look, just to tell you, friends, I get asked this a lot of times. Sommi, do you regret getting an altcoin so early? No, man. No, you don't know this is going to happen, dude. Okay. You did not know we're going to get 33 months and going of business ISM cycle going down. You did not know that. And here's the thing, friends. Every cycle that happens, people learn the future. So you just don't know all these, okay? And ultimately, by the way, you're probably going to make way more anyway. It's just that it gave you hell in between. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, some people will say, some people declare themselves geniuses. Friends, look, trust me, I see their portfolios, okay? I see their portfolios. I know how they talk. They're all full of shit, okay? You and I, we have this fear. We think that's this competitor, this like random KOL dude, number 15 or whatever. You think they have like this giant Bitcoin stash and they've been hoarding it the whole time. And then you think right now, you know how you and I can see the point of inflection? You think that they've been waiting the whole time. And now what they're going to do is they're going to go deploy all of their Bitcoin stash. No. You gotta understand, friends. They look at us like lemmings. You know lemmings when you're walking off the cliff and falling? I don't know if you guys have, friends, I played this as a kid. I can't believe it, man. It's giving me like freaking nostalgia, this game. This is lemmings, literally lemmings. Now, why we joke as lemmings? Because they could just, if you just send them to walk off the cliff, they all of them, in a straight line, walk off the cliff. You gotta understand, right? See the lemmings, fans? See, imagine this cliff, all these things walking. This is so cute. See how these lemmings, when they fall off, they all start going, no, start going nuts. Okay, well, I've seen altcoins for the past literal 4 years. Every single person who's not in altcoins, like Bitcoin Max and stuff, they look at that and they go, oh my gosh, look at the horror, look at the terror. You just keep getting wrecked and wrecked and wrecked and wrecked. So what happens is when the prices go down of altcoins, okay, 5 out of 100 of us say, man, they're cheap. I know it's painful, but they're cheap. That's 5 out of 100. 95 are saying, oh, I never want to do this again. I'm never going to do this again. That's what 95 say. So if you want to be the top 5% winners, you actually got to buy, which is what you've done. You've held on through, okay? So there doesn't exist this magical person who comes out. Now, friends, I'll give you an example. Ben Copen, okay? Ben Copen, he's 95% Bitcoin. I think and by the way, he's got 3% Ethereum, and he said it's too much. He said it was way, way, way too much. He's been disgusted about it. Just to give you an idea, 3% allocation. And then the other 2% are abomination, probably like Corridanzo and whatever, just the biggest market cap thing. Just giving you an example of stuff like this, friends. So as people, especially as they get older, the amygdala gets bigger of your brain. So your fear receptors get bigger. The amygdala part of your brain, that's basically senses fear. It gets big as you go time, and you remember all these times of when things didn't work. So that's what we actually find is there doesn't exist this magical thing. But the thing is, the experience you went through, we don't have to go through it 10,000 times, man. It's just once. You just need one home run. You know that? Because think about this. Let's say, friends, let's say some of you put, I don't know, let's say you maybe had 20 grand in. Maybe you don't hit $1 million by the end, right? Maybe you end up with like 600K. But here's the thing, man. Like, you made, let's say you put 20, that's like a 30x, okay? You don't need a 30x in the next cycle. You only need like a 3. Do you get what I mean? You only need a 3. That's why a lot of the people who have these Bitcoin Maxi portfolios, they've either got a lot of money from grifting, salesman stuff, selling services, selling indicators. They pretty much made a lot of money by other people giving them money and then buying the thing. So, like, friends, when you've got 14 million in Bitcoin, a 2x is literally making you euphoric. Okay, but you don't have 14 million. You got like $14, okay? $14, you got like 6 months of living expenses in. See, totally different game. So where are we going from here? I guess we'll see, right? Is Ethereum going to keep cranking as Bitcoin moves through this next 7 to 10 day phase as we does A, B, C, D? Hopefully it continues up. We'll see. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.